everyone, I'm Kristen, an educator at the Perot Museum of Nature and Science. Welcome to another episode of Amaze Your Brain at Home. Today we'll be discussing a topic that affects everyone, the weather. The study of weather is also known as meteorology, and those who study it are called meteorologists. You may have seen them on the news. They provide you with the forecast and even pop up whenever there's severe weather. But what is weather and where does it happen? Weather just means the current state of our atmosphere. The atmosphere is the mixture of gases that surrounds Earth, mainly nitrogen and oxygen. Can you see the atmosphere around you? I can't, but we can feel it. If you use your hand to fan your face, the breeze that you feel is the movement of the atmosphere. If you're outside and the wind blows, that feeling is the movement of the atmosphere. We live in the troposphere, which is actually the lowest layer of the atmosphere. And this is also where weather occurs. Can you name some types of weather? You may have said rainy, sunny, cloudy, or even snowy. The fun thing about weather is that it's constantly changing. Us Texans definitely understand that the weather changes quickly and frequently. Now, why does weather change? For that, we have to talk about the sun. The sun is a star or a giant ball of plasma at the center of our solar system, and it provides us with two things: light so we can see, and heat. Heat energy from the sun warms the air molecules in the troposphere and causes them to rise higher into the atmosphere. Our first experiment today will explore how heat is transferred through a fluid. For this experiment, we will be using a stovetop. Be sure to have an adult help you when using a stovetop and when handling hot objects. Be careful. You will also need to gather a pan, pie tin, or pot, anything that can go on your stove. Enough water to cover an inch or inch and a half at the bottom of the pan or pot. A spoon, some soap. This can be hand soap. I'm using my shampoo. It has a nice pearlescent quality, and that's what we're looking for in this experiment. And some food coloring. See you in the kitchen. Now that we're in the kitchen, I have mixed the water and soap and poured it into my pan. I have also turned the stove on low heat. Observe the movements. Now that I've added the food coloring, what can you see? You may have noticed that the food coloring sinks to the bottom of the pan originally and then slowly starts to rise and mix with the other colors. This process is called convection. Convection is the transfer of heat through a fluid. In this case, it was a liquid, but fluid could also mean a gas. When we started the experiment, all of the molecules inside the liquid were evenly distributed. And when we turned the stove on, the molecules closest to the heat source or bottom of the pan were heated more than the molecules farther from the heat source or top of the pan. The molecules at the bottom of the pan became less densely packed, and the molecules at the top of the pan became more densely packed. Gravity pulls the cooler, more densely packed fluid down. This displaces the warmer, less densely packed liquid on the bottom of the pan and causes it to rise to the top. This experiment was to learn about convection, or the transfer of heat. We now know that warmer, less dense fluids tend to rise, and cooler, more dense liquids tend to sink. We also know that due to heat from the sun, this is happening in our atmosphere. But I wonder, what happens if we add water into this convection process? For that, we need to talk to Catherine.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Like Kristen was teaching earlier, this process of convection can get really complicated when we add water to it. So today we're going to learn about the water cycle, and I have a pretty cool experiment to follow.
Let's learn the water cycle. Our planet Earth is made up of about 70% water and 30% land. Can you name some different sources of water here on Earth? There are so many. For our water cycle drawing today, our landscape has some nice green hills and a water source nearby. Now, earlier, we learned that our sun is our Earth's heat and light source. The sun heats up the air that surrounds our Earth, which we call the atmosphere, but it also heats up the surfaces, so in this case, the hills and the water. Our red arrows indicate heat from the sun traveling through our atmosphere and heating our surface. As the water is heated, liquid molecules of water can go through a process called evaporation. This means the water changes from a liquid to a gas phase. We call this gas form of water vapor. The water vapor in the air can then continue to rise into the upper atmosphere, where it is cooler in temperature. The water vapor then goes through a process of condensation. All that water vapor from the earlier stage in the water cycle turns back into liquid water. We can call these water droplets. We can see this condensation as clouds. Within the cloud, the water droplets can continue to grow and get even bigger, causing the cloud to grow. Eventually, these water droplets get so heavy and so big that they will fall from the cloud. We call this process precipitation. Can you name any of the forms of precipitation? The four main types are rain, snow, hail, and sleet. Together, all of these processes are part of the water cycle, which allows water to circulate between Earth's oceans, land, and the atmosphere. There are a lot more processes involved, and it can get way more complicated. Our Earth is a pretty complex planet. This was a great start to understanding the water cycle, especially when focusing on weather. Now, let's get back to our experiment. For this experiment, we only need a couple of supplies. A cup or a glass with hot water, not boiling. Mine was heated using a kettle to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. A glass jar, any size will do, and a glass plate filled with ice cubes. Now, like every good scientist, we must make a prediction or a hypothesis about what do you think we're going to do and what the results may be. How do you think this experiment may relate to the water cycle? Pause the video to make your prediction. To set up the experiment, you will pour the hot water into the jar. You can see the steam coming off of the hot water already. That part is evaporation. Next, place the plate with ice cubes directly on top of the jar. Make sure it sits flat on top, allowing no air to escape. Now, we can watch my experiment in time-lapse mode. What do you observe? So we not only saw evaporation, but then we see condensation on the inside of the jar. Those water droplets will start to grow on the sides. Then we eventually will see precipitation when those water droplets are too heavy and begin to fall like rain, traveling down the sides of the jar back to the big pool of water. In one experiment, we were able to see so many different steps of the water cycle. Do you see any more processes involved?
Awesome job. All right, back to you, Kristen.
Thanks for your help, Catherine. Today, we learned that the sun is the main driver of convection within our atmosphere. We also learned that the water cycle is a series of phase changes of water throughout Earth's oceans, land, and atmosphere. Thanks for joining me today. I had a great time being a meteorologist with you. I hope you continue to study the weather, and I encourage you to use our weather observation worksheets to help you track the changes from day to day. If you complete one of our experiments today, please share your results. Happy experimenting! We live in the lowest layer of our atmosphere, called the troposphere. The troposphere is also where weather occurs.